The wind outside howled like a beast, cold, sharp, deadly. Inside the small outpost, James sat alone, staring at a broken heater. It had stopped working 3 hours ago. His breath was fogging in the air. He wrapped his blanket tighter around his body, but it didn't help much. This planet Varnak 7 wasn't meant for humans. At least not for humans alone. He was posted here for emergency repairs, just for 3 nights. That's what they told him. 3 nights, fix the satellite, then leave. Now. It was night 2. Suddenly he heard something. A soft click. Then, a slow creak. His eyes snapped toward the door. It moved. But that wasn't possible. The door was sealed, locked with internal sensors. No one had access. No one. He grabbed his small flashlight and pointed it toward the entrance. That's when he saw her. She was crawling on the floor, slowly, like her body was weak. Her skin was a strange soft blue. Her arms were shaking. Her silver hair hung down, wet and frozen, and she was naked. James froze. She didn't speak. She looked up with glowing green eyes, half begging, half warning. Then she whispered, "I'm cold. I need your body heat, or I won't survive." James didn't move. He was trained for strange alien behavior, yes, but not for this. "Who are you?" he asked, keeping his voice calm. She crawled closer to his bed, her knees scraping against the cold floor. "There's no time. If I don't share warmth with a male body, my organs will shut down." He pointed at the emergency blanket. "Take that. Wrap yourself." She didn't touch it. She shook her head fast. "No, it has to be direct contact. My species needs skin. You don't understand. I'm already too cold. I crawled here because your room had the heat signal." James stood up. "What species are you?" "Zellian," she whispered. His eyes narrowed. Zellians were enemies in the last war. She saw the fear in his eyes. "I'm not military. I escaped. Please, I'm not here to harm you. Just let me get in your bed. 1 night. Just 1 night. I won't touch anything, I swear." He didn't answer. She reached up slowly, placing her hand on the edge of his bed. Her fingers were blue and shaking. "I'll die if you push me away," she said softly. James didn't lower his guard, but he didn't stop her either. She climbed onto the bed slowly, like a wounded animal. Her breath was heavy. Her lips were dry. She pulled the blanket over both of them and pressed her body too close. James stiffened. He didn't move. Her skin was freezing. Ice cold, but soft. She rested her head on his chest and let out a quiet sigh. "You're warm." He clenched his jaw. His heart was beating fast. "I swear if you try anything, I won't," she said, voice barely above a whisper. "This is the ritual of shared heat. It's real. You can check our biology in your database." "I don't have a signal," he muttered. She didn't answer. She was already falling asleep. James stayed awake, listening to her slow breaths, feeling her cold body against his. And something felt wrong. Too wrong. Because on the side of her neck, just above the collarbone, was a black mark. A mark James had seen before. In the war. It belonged to the Zillion assassins. His hand slowly moved under the pillow where he kept his knife, but he didn't grab it. "Not yet." She stirred sleepily and whispered, "You smell safe." Then she placed her leg over his and curled into him like she belonged there. James stared at the ceiling. Something wasn't right. Why would an enemy assassin crawl into his bed? Why was she alone? And why did he suddenly not want her to leave? James didn't sleep. He could single quotes. The alien girl lay beside him, breathing soft and slow. But he could feel her body move slightly with each breath. Her leg was still draped over his. Her skin, once ice cold, was now warming fast, maybe too fast. She wasn't shivering anymore. In fact, she looked Comfortable. Too comfortable. James stared at the ceiling, then slowly turned his eyes toward her face. She was already looking at him. Smiling. You're still awake, she whispered. You noticed? She nodded. I was listening to your heartbeat. It didn't slow down, not even once. He didn't answer. She slid a little closer, pressing her chest to his side. You have strong blood flow, fast heart rate. That means you're healthy, strong, probably military or ex-military. James's jaw tensed. How do you know that? He asked. I studied your species before the war. Your skin, your bones, your nerve points. He narrowed his eyes. You're not supposed to know that kind of detail. She smiled again, slow and strange. I'm not supposed to be here either. Her fingers touched his chest right. Over an old scar. This one. Plasma burn, right? Left side. Near heart. You barely survived. James stayed still. How do you know that? She traced the edge of the scar. Because I saw a man die from the same injury years ago. James grabbed her wrist gently but firmly. Who trained you? She looked into his eyes. No one. I trained myself. I wanted to understand humans, how they feel, how they love, how they die. The room suddenly felt colder again. James pushed her hand away and sat up. This ritual of yours, what does it really do? She stayed lying down, pulling the blanket tighter on her bare body. It saves me. That's all. I need body heat or my cells start shutting down. But it also does something else. He turned to look at her. What? She tilted her head and whispered, It bonds us. Just a little, not forever, unless I choose to finish it. What does that mean, finish it? She smiled with a dangerous glint in her eye. Let's just say, you'll know if I do. James stood up from the bed. The cold air bit at his skin, but he needed space. He needed to think. I need answers, he said, walking toward his locker. Why are you here, really? I told you. No, he cut her off. Why my room? This base has 20 empty pods. You picked mine. Why? She sat up now, blanket covering her chest, silver hair falling around her face. Because your bed was warmest. Your body gives off the highest heat signature. That's rare for a human. Lucky me, he said flatly. She tilted her head again. Or maybe I just wanted you. Silence fell. James looked at her, trying to read her face, but it was calm. Too calm. Then something clicked in his mind. He walked quickly to the side panel near the bed and activated a hidden scanner. Military-grade. He pointed it at her. She didn't move. The scan beeped. Once, then again. Combat implants detected. Pulse control. Muscle enhancements. Adrenal dampeners. Classification. Zellian Tactical Unit. James stepped back. You're not a civilian, he said coldly. She gave him a small nod. I never said I was. You said you escaped. I did. From what? A war zone or a mission? Her voice was soft. From a cage. James clenched his fists. So you're an assassin? No, she said, standing slowly. I was made to be one. But I never killed. She walked toward him, bare feet silent on the cold floor. James raised his hand, warning her to stop. I don't want your heat anymore, he said. I want the truth. She stopped just in front of him. Her eyes locked with his. Then she whispered, if I don't bond with a human by dawn, my system will trigger self-destruction. He stared at her. No jokes. No tricks. This is real, she said. It's not just about heat anymore. I'm not just cold. I'm dying. James looked at the scanner again. The countdown had started. System failure. 6 hours, 23 minutes, and 17 seconds. His heart beat faster. She looked up at him with those glowing green eyes. If I die here, you die with me. There was something under her skin. James saw it when she turned her head in the dim light. Not a bruise, not a wound, a mark. Small, black, etched into her neck just below her jaw, half hidden by her silver hair. He had seen that mark before. During the war. It was the sigil of Unit Zeta X, a deep-cover assassination cell used by the Zelians, silent killers. Disguised as diplomats, as nurses, as lovers, every human soldier who saw that mark ended up dead within hours. James froze. She didn't notice she was leaning over the heater now, trying to warm her hands. Wrapped in a loose blanket, her bare shoulders were still trembling, but he wasn't sure if it was from the cold or the countdown ticking inside her body. He moved quietly to the corner of the room, where a small emergency locker held his encrypted tablet. He powered it up. Just one bar of battery left. He typed the code for threat markings. It loaded. Match found. NaviDX, high-risk class. Objective, infiltrate and terminate. James looked up at her again. She wasn't trembling anymore. In fact, she looked calm. Too calm. She turned her head and caught him staring. What's wrong? She asked softly. He didn't answer. Instead, he took a slow step forward and said, "The mark on your neck." "What is it?" She blinked. Then touched the spot gently with her fingers. "Oh," she said quietly. "That." Her voice trailed off. James stared, waiting. Finally, she said, "That was burned onto me. By my own commander. I didn't choose." "So it's real," James said. "You are Zeta X." "I was supposed to be," she whispered. "I trained with them. But I ran." He didn't buy it. "You said you were made for survival rituals, not killing." She looked at him. And for the first time, she didn't lie. "I was made for both." James stepped back. "Don't," she said quickly. "I'm not here to hurt you. I ran from them 2 weeks ago. I crashed near this outpost. My escape pod was damaged. You expect me to believe this?" She slowly dropped the blanket. James instinctively looked away, but not before seeing it. Deep scar across her back. Fresh. Burned. "They tried to shut me down," she said. "Tried to destroy me because I refused my mission. I wasn't supposed to feel. But after watching Humans, I wanted to understand." James didn't know what to say. Part of him believed her. The other part remembered the stories. The soldiers who trusted the wrong alien. The officers who died with a kiss on their lips and a knife in their spine. Still, something about her didn't match the reports. She didn't move like a killer anymore. She moved like someone who was tired of running. James picked up the scanner again, pointed it at her. One more line appeared on the screen. Emotional override. Active mission programming. OFFLINE frowned. "What is that?" She smiled faintly. "I turned off their code." "You're saying you disabled your own programming?" "Yes, impossible." I'm impossible," she whispered. He didn't smile. She walked toward him, slow and careful. "I didn't come here to finish a mission," she said. "I came here to feel, even if it's just for one night." James didn't lower the scanner. Then she said something that chilled him to the bone. "I was programmed to kill you. Your face, your name, it's in my memory core." Silence. He stared at her, stunned. "But I deleted the command," she said. "Because when I saw your photo, I didn't see a target. I saw a man who looked just as alone as me." James's grip loosened. His voice cracked. "Why me?" "Because I thought you wouldn't scream." She stepped even closer, and then she reached behind her ear with a small click. She dropped something into his hand, a black chip. Her mission drive. Her kill switch. "I trust you," she said softly, "even if you don't trust me." James looked at the chip, then looked at her. And just as he was about to speak, the alarm blared. A red light flashed across the room. "Unauthorized female lifeform detected. Warning, lockdown in 90 seconds. Asterisk, the alarm was still ringing. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. The outpost's auto-defense system was waking up, detecting a lifeform it didn't recognize. The alien girl, still half wrapped in the blanket, stood frozen in place, her bare feet on the cold floor. James had 90 seconds. He moved fast. "Get in the wall unit," he ordered, yanking open a small storage hatch behind the heater. "Now." She didn't argue. She rushed forward, but as she passed him, something happened. James reached to help steady her, and accidentally touched the base of her spine. The moment his fingers brushed that spot, she stopped breathing. Her entire body went stiff. Eyes wide, chest still, James jerked his hand back, shocked. "What the hell?" She dropped to her knees, then slowly looked up at him. Her eyes weren't green anymore. They were gold and glowing. "Don't touch that again," she said, her voice low. "Different." Mechanical. James stepped back. "What did I just activate?" She didn't move. "You triggered the bonding core," she said, monotone. "Primary link in progress." "I didn't mean to." "Too late," she whispered. Then her body relaxed. Like all energy drained out of her, she collapsed into his arms. James caught her. The scanner on the wall flashed red again. Intruder lockdown in 20 seconds. He had no choice. He shoved the storage unit open and pushed her gently inside, covering her with a thermal sheet. He closed the door just as the entire base shook, a low rumble as blast doors sealed every exit. Alarm went silent, then nothing. Just his own breath in the quiet room, and her voice echoing in his mind, not aloud. Inside. "You touched me where no human has ever touched before. Now I feel what you feel." James backed away from the wall. "What the hell?" She was speaking to him without speaking. "I warned you. That part of me is not just physical. It's neural. If you activate it, I bond." He stared at the sealed locker where she hid. "Are you inside my head now?" "Only part of it. I can sense your emotions. Your thoughts are loud." James picked up the scanner again. Her vitals were still stable, but a new line had appeared. Bonding process. Stage 1 complete neural sync. Active low link. His hands were shaking. He had touched a biological trigger, a mating point or worse. A neural fuse designed for deep enemy infiltration. "Was this your plan?" he asked aloud. "Crawl into my bed. Then crawl into my mind." Silence. Then her voice again in his head. "No, but I'm not sorry." Suddenly, he remembered something from the war files. Zellian bonding rituals. Unfinished documents. Notes on forced imprinting. It wasn't just about survival. It was about claiming. If she bonded fully, James wouldn't just feel her thoughts. He'd want her, obey her, protect her. Even against his own kind. James clenched his fists. "No," he said, "I'm still in control." "For now," she replied softly. Then a knock. Bang. Bang. Banged someone at the outer door. James froze. A voice came through the speaker. "This is Unit Bravo 12. We detected unauthorized biosigns. Open the door immediately." James didn't move. The knock came again, harder. "Last warning, engineer. Open now or we cut through." He looked at the wall panel, looked at the scanner, looked at the hidden girl inside his wall. Then she whispered, this time aloud, "If they take me, I won't survive interrogation. They'll destroy me." James stared at the door. He had 1 second to decide: let them in, or protect the alien girl now locked inside his room, whose spine he accidentally triggered, and whose thoughts were now whispering inside his brain. She smiled when he aimed the gun at her. Not a scared smile, not nervous, a calm, knowing smile, like she already knew what he'd choose. James kept the plasma pistol steady, aimed at her chest. "I don't want to shoot you." She sat cross-legged on his bed, wrapped loosely in the blanket. "Then don't." "Orders came through," he said, his voice tight. "They're cutting through the door in 6 minutes. If I don't hand you over, I get marked as a traitor." "Then you better decide fast," she said softly. "Who do you serve, them or yourself?" James gritted his teeth. Don't do that. Do what? Try to get inside my head. Her glowing eyes locked with his. I'm already inside your head, remember? That was true. Since he'd touched the base of her spine accidentally, he'd started hearing her thoughts. Feeling her emotions, not fully, not yet, but it was there. A quiet whisper under every heartbeat. She reached up and touched her neck. They're not trying to rescue you, James. They're trying to erase me. You're a threat, he said. Zeta X is kill on sight, she replied. I'm something else now, yeah? What exactly are you? She stood slowly from the bed, letting the blanket fall to her waist. Pale skin. Marked scars. Glowing veins. She walked toward him step by step until the barrel of his gun touched her chest. Then she said it. I'm yours. James didn't pull the trigger, not because he was weak, because in that moment, he realized something worse than fear. Didn't want her to go, even now, gun in hand, mission on the line, threat level red. Some part of him was drawn to her. Like gravity. Like instinct. Like something biological. He lowered the weapon slowly. They'll never let this happen. He said, if I protect you, I lose everything. She stepped even closer, then lose it. He looked her in the eyes. You don't understand. Earth is gone. This outpost is all I have left. Her voice softened. Then let me stay. I won't take your past, but I could be your future. James blinked. Something shifted inside him. The scanner on the wall beeped. Neural. Sync. Stage 2 emotional mirror active bonding. Resistance. 18% remaining. He didn't know what that meant exactly. But he felt it. He wasn't resisting as much anymore. Her hand slid over his, pressing the gun to her chest again. If you think I'm lying, pull the trigger. He didn't single quotes the dot. She leaned closer and whispered, you won't, because you feel it too now. He closed his eyes. His hand dropped the pistol. She took it gently, placed it on the table. Then pulled him close, forehead to forehead. You want to survive the war, James? Then don't fight the only thing keeping you human. He swallowed hard, but before he could speak, boom. The door shook with an explosion. The external security team was forcing their way in. He turned, breathing fast. They're almost through. She grabbed his wrist. If I leave this bed, she said, my bond with you will break. And then I go back to being what they made me. What does that mean? Her eyes turned sad. It means I stop feeling. I stop caring. I kill again. I don't want that. James looked at the door. Then at her. He had 10 seconds to decide. Protect the alien enemy who had bonded to him by accident, or hand her over and save his rank, his name, and his life. He reached for the control panel. Pause. Then pressed the override again, shutting down door access completely. Lockdown sealed. They were trapped together. She let out a quiet breath. Then she said, now you're mine. And I'm yours. Asterisk. He found the message hidden in her spine. Not a recording. Not a chip. A pulse. It was faint, buried deep in her nerve threads. Like a heartbeat that didn't belong to her. James picked it up on a low-frequency scan. A coded ping transmitting once every hour. Tracking her. Tagging her. She's still connected to them, he whispered. The alien girl stirred under the blanket, her breathing slow. Her skin finally warmed. James stared at her sleeping face. For the first time, she looked peaceful. Human, almost. But he couldn't forget what he'd seen. The signal was coming from a Zelian warship orbiting beyond the moon's dark side. A royal ship. A king ship. The transmission was clear. Return her, and we will give you Earth's last coordinates. James sat back, stunned. Earth's final survivors. Lost after the attack. Presumed dead or scattered across the galaxy. They were offering the location. In exchange for her. He stared at her again. He could feel her heartbeat now, because his was matching it. Ever since the bond deepened, her body and his had sensed He could feel when she was afraid, when she dreamed, when she felt safe. Now for the first time, he felt guilt coming from her that she knew. She wasn't asleep. That her voice broke the silence, soft as a breath. I didn't want you to find it. James didn't answer. She opened her eyes slowly, glowing. Gold in the low light. It was locked inside me before I escaped. A leash. I can't shut it off. You should have told me. I didn't want you to choose between me and them. He stood up, walked away from the bed, ran a hand through his hair. Earth could still be out there, he muttered. My people, my home. She sat up, knees pulled to her chest. Then go, he turned sharply. What? You want to save your world, I understand. Take me back to them, trade me in, get the coordinates, go find your planet. You say it like it's easy, she smiled sadly. Because I'm making it easy for you. James stared at her. She was offering herself like she didn't care, but he could feel it, the ache behind her words. She didn't want to die, but she would if it meant saving him. He looked at the scanner again. The signal was getting stronger. The royal ship had sent another message. This one in a human-compatible format, video feed. The screen flickered, then showed a face James hadn't seen in years. General Leon, a human commander. Alive. This is General Leon of Earth Command. If anyone receives this, know that Earth survivors are real. We were taken, not killed, scattered, hidden. We've been waiting for someone to find us. James leaned in, stunned. The general continued. To the one who holds the Zellian girl. Listen carefully. She is the only living key. Return her to the enemy ship, and we will be freed. James's pulse thundered. The screen cut off. Silence. Then her voice from behind. If you give me to them, they won't let your people go. He turned. She stood there now, the blanket slipping slightly off one shoulder, revealing the royal sigil faintly glowing on her collarbone. They don't want peace, she said. They want obedience. They'll use your people as leverage. And how do I know you're not lying? He asked, eyes sharp. She walked toward him slowly, stopped just inches away, then whispered, because I didn't crawl into your bed as a weapon. I crawled in because I was finally tired of being one. Silence hung between them. She leaned in. Her forehead touched his, and he felt her fear, her guilt, her hope. Then she said, choose them, or choose me. But don't lie to yourself about which one you want more. She took the shot meant for him. No hesitation, no words, just a blur of silver hair, bare feet on cold floor, and the crack of plasma tearing through the room. Then silence. Jane stood frozen, gun still raised, watching her. Body collapsed. She hit the floor hard. Blood. Dark blue and glowing, spreading fast. The doors had blown open just seconds before. The elite squad stormed in, aiming straight at him. She saw the shot coming and jumped in the way. Now she was lying there, hands clutching her side, gasping, eyes wide with pain. James dropped his weapon and ran to her. No, stay with me, he shouted, pressing his hand against the wound. She smiled through clenched teeth. Now we're even. Shut up, he said, voice shaking. Don't say goodbye, you're not dying. She reached up weakly, her fingers brushing his jaw. You feel everything I feel, remember? So you know it's real. He did. The bond had deepened over the last few hours, quietly, without permission. Now he could feel her pain as his own, her panic. Her fading heartbeat. The squad behind him shouted something, orders, warnings, but James didn't hear a word. He was looking into her eyes. I should have let you go, he whispered. I should have traded you for Earth. She gave a tiny laugh. But you didn't. Tears burned his eyes. Why did you jump in front of me? Her voice was barely a whisper now. Because you're the first human who ever looked at me like I was more than a weapon. And then her eyes closed. Her chest stopped rising. The scanner on the wall blinked red. Life signal. Dropped neural. Link diasionanis. Chivzane stood slowly, turned toward the soldiers. His hands curled into fists. You shot her, he said. She was a Class X target, the lead officer replied coldly. We gave you a chance to hand her over. James didn't speak. The scanner blinked again. Warning, neural bond severed. Residual sync traces detected. Do you wish to purge? He didn't answer it. Instead, he walked back to her, kneeling beside her body. He reached into her hair and pressed his fingers against the back of her neck, the same place he had touched that night. The bond point. Don't do it, the soldier behind him warned. You might trigger her final core. I know, James said, and pressed. Nothing happened. No pulse. No spark, no glow. Just stillness. But then, the scanner changed. Core reboot. Detected emotion lock. Reinstated bond signal. Pulse phoned. Her hand twitched. Then again. She gasped. Loud. Sudden, ragged. James grabbed her hand. Hey, stay with me. Her eyes opened slowly. Then wider. Then locked on his face. You idiot, she whispered. He laughed, half crying. Yeah, that's me. The soldier behind him stepped forward again. Step away from the asset. She's not an asset, James snapped. She's bonded to me. And if you fire again, I'll report every one of you for disobeying cross-species protocol under Article 9. The room went quiet. Nobody moved. Then James stood, lifting her in his arms. I'm taking her to the med bay. You're risking everything, one officer said. James didn't even look back. I already risked everything the moment I let her into my bed. 1 week later. The room was warmer now. Peaceful. She lay on clean sheets, bandaged and resting. James sat beside her, arm around her shoulders. She stirred, eyes opening, smiling. You're still here. Yeah, he said. I told you I don't run. She touched his chest. Is the link still active? He nodded. Can you feel what I'm feeling right now? She asked. He smiled. Yeah, it's new. Tell me. It feels like home. She leaned into him. For the record, she whispered. This time, I'm crawling into your bed because I want to. He kissed her forehead. Then stay.